A box from Japan, whatever could this be? You may have seen this tool in other videos of mine. In this one we're finally going to go over all the features and what it does and what all these buttons down here mean, even the ones that are in Japanese text.
None of the shots you will see of this impact driver driving screws in this video have been sped up. They are all normal speed.
This is the TD171D from Japan in purple. It's also known in other parts of the world as the DTD171 and the XDT16. I got this Japanese model because it is purple. And I like purple, I don't care what you say about that. It was also cheaper by $150 for me to import it from Japan than it was to buy it here in little old Nouvelle-Zélande. Now, just because it's not the standard teal color doesn't mean that it's fake, okay? In Japan they make a lot of different Makita tools in different colors. I think there's about 3 different impact drivers that you can get in different colors. This particular one comes in purple, a sort of deep red, a dark brown, and I think a white and a black, maybe a couple of others. You can get other Makita impact drivers in lime green and pink even. If you're interested in any of the coloured ones, I've put a link down below to some eBay listings. I can't guarantee that all the colours will be there when you look at it, because yeah, they're individuals selling them. There's one particular guy who sells them all the time, and I can't guarantee that he's going to have them in stock. But if you're interested, check it out, link down below. Let's have a look at the mode selection here. So we have 1 through 4, 4 being the highest speed obviously, and it goes down, not up, like my previous impact driver from Makita. And on the other side here we have 4 other modes. We've got what they call assist mode, which you'll see shortly in the video. It basically is for putting screws into wood. Fantastic for doing tech screws, batten screws, that sort of thing, because it starts off slow until it bites, and then once it feels the torque, it ramps up the speed and fires those screws in. Fantastic. I'm using it a lot on that setting. Setting next to it there is bolt or nut release setting. Basically this one stops you when you're undoing a nut and you pull the trigger. As soon as it feels that it's released the torque and doesn't feel any more pressure on it, it will cut out, and that stops your nuts from flying across the room, which, you know, can be a problem, as I'm sure you're aware. And these last 2 modes here are tech mode, or basically it means for putting screws into metal that are self-drilling screws. It'll go fast as you're drilling in and then thread the screw in, and then should cut out before stripping out the screw. That's the theory. Well, that didn't seem to work. I've heard people complain about this, that it doesn't actually work, and I'd have to agree by the looks. No, not stopping. Let's see if this will work when you try and drive one in this mode when it does cut out. There we go, it's cut out. Cutting out. Just didn't do it on the thing that it's designed for, which is a bit of a worry. So that's on the other tech setting. So in theory, should spin up once it goes in, slow down, the opposite of the assist mode, so that you don't strip out your metal. Maybe we're just not in the right gauge steel for what it's designed for. Let's try it with something a bit more substantial. So this is 5mm. Okay, so it worked in that. Let's see how we go with the thinner one here. Let's try it on the other mode. Okay, so that stopped. It's a bit annoying it doesn't work on the thinner gauge stuff, because that's probably what guys are going to mostly be using it for. Whoa, and that one didn't want to stop at all. So I'll do some more tests on that over the coming months, no doubt. Not convinced on that one yet. Also got a button here for the light. Turn the light on and off. And this other light here, I'm guessing that's the battery indicator. But I'm not sure. Haven't seen it come on yet. Now, as well as changing the modes down here, you can, with this impact driver, change them up here by the trigger. Just above the standard trigger, you have another little trigger button. And when you push that, it will cycle through, as you can see, cycling through the speeds of your impact driver. So, if you can't be bothered reaching down and touching down here, you can just do it with your finger up here. It's also brushless, of course. It has a strappy thing, a hooky thing, lights, and its ring glows in the dark. You never know how handy that could be. So everyone knows impact drivers are great for screwing applications, but today I'm going to use it with this speed bore bit, and we're going to drill some holes with it. One thing I've noticed about these speed bore bits is because the cutting area is quite small and it tapers away to this thinner shaft, it doesn't clear the material out of the hole as good as a standard auger bit like this, which slowly, as it turns, takes all the material out with it, a lot of it, whereas this one doesn't, and so pulling it back out is quite a lot harder, but it does drill awfully fast. And I can do it with an impact driver, which means I can get into much smaller spaces. My apprentice will now demonstrate putting nuts on bolts with the impact driver. Now it'll drive 100mm 14 gauge stainless batten screws all day long without a pilot hole, no trouble at all. And even 125s, 5-inch. Doesn't miss a beat. 150 shouldn't be a problem. I'm really loving that slow start, and then once it feels the torque it kicks into high speed. It's quite cool. This deck ain't going anywhere. 200mm 14 gauge galvanized batten screws, no pre-drilled hole. Next up, stainless steel, 12mm, 130mm long, coach screws, or lag screws if you prefer. Now it'd be a bit mean to try and drive these without drilling a hole first, so I've drilled an 8.5mm pilot hole, and we will see how well she does. Lock and load. Beast! So those pilot holes were drilled about 15mm short of the length of the screw, so that last little bit it has to drive it directly into the timber. Did it no problem. The next test is going to be an interesting one. It's hard to even get the camera back far enough for this one. So this is a 280mm long landscape screw. I don't even know what gauge this is. It's, wow, must be like 20 gauge for screw gauge. It's got a Torx 40 drive on it. Drilled a recess for the head so that they're not sticking up, because I don't think the impact driver is going to have much energy left to drive that deep into the timber. I've drilled a pilot hole in this first board, which is 6.5mm in diameter, because that's the widest diameter I've got that I could get all the way through to about here. I've got it on jet assist mode, which is that one that ramps up the torque, or as my wife likes to call it, Jap assist mode, because this is my Japanese imported impact driver. It's not a racist slur. This will be an interesting test. I'm not sure if it will do it or not. I'm also not sure if this will last. It's an impact rated Torx drive bit, but this or this could give way, or it could strip out this, at which point I might have to get the angle grinder up. Let's go. Woo! Well, that was pretty darn impressive. And this is H3 and H4 timber that I'm going into. It's dry, apart from you saw that stuff spray up, but that's because I'd only just put some on the holes I drilled. Now this one, I haven't drilled a pilot hole. It's only got the recess at the top. So this is the real test. Can it drive 280mm in with no pilot hole? 3, 2, 1. Definitely my new favourite impact driver. I like it. I like it a lot. What did I forget to mention about it before? I don't think I mentioned the chuck. It's got one of those ones where you just push it in. It's a little bit tighter than my last Makita one, but I guess it'll loosen up with time. So you need one hand to put the bits in. The light is very good. I'm happy. I don't know if I said the speeds before. So she goes up to 3600 RPM and 3800 bangy bangs per minute. Or it might be the other way around. It's a bit hard to tell because it's in Japanese. But the four settings go up to 1100, 2100, 3200, 3600, and 1100, 2600, 3600, and 3800. Okay, so there you go. If you like numbers, there's some numbers. But yeah, it's done really well. I love it. I'm not all that keen on it when it comes to the metal stuff. Not convinced that's an option that they've got nailed down properly yet. The jet assist mode, as they call it, love that. That's what I use it on a lot of the time. So if you're interested in one of these coloured ones, have a look in the description below. If you don't care about the coloured ones, or you don't want to get one imported from Japan, the standard teal versions will be down in the description below as well. There's a link up in the top corner, which you may have already seen, a video of this impact driver up against 3 other Makita impact drivers for comparison. And hopefully when the 40 volt stuff comes out, yes, Makita are releasing 40 volt tools, starting to get a 40 volt impact driver, I will compare it against this. Plenty other Makita reviews coming up. This is a cool little reciprocating saw with 2 different triggers, a tile and glass cutting saw, and hello, 36 volt skilly. Okay guys, see you on the next one. Go out and buy that impact driver. So small, so powerful, you won't regret it. Cheers guys, see you on the next one. 3, 2, 1. Fuck.